In the nonprofit space, you probably need to get a lot done with a little. You're listening to Hacks for Good with nonprofit technology nerd Taylor Shanklin.
We're all hustling at nonprofits, at startups.
T-Shank is going to break it down for you.
It's a grind, right? You've got to do a lot with a little.
Giving you tips and tricks to grow your mission.
I'm going to be sharing my toolkit.
And use the latest and greatest tools available to growth hack your cause.
Hey guys, it's Taylor, aka T-Shank here, and today I'm over in the Kimbia office. I am a senior manager of product marketing here at Kimbia, and also the one who started this whole thing, who's getting Hacks for Good going, because I want to help nonprofit organizations learn about all of the stuff you could be doing or could be thinking about to grow your cause, to make your life easier. And I want to digest that information for you so that you don't have to spend a lot of time obsessing and reading about things the way that I do. So today I want to get started with the first video about what is growth hacking. What's this stupid buzzword that you're talking about, Taylor? I've got a couple slides for you. I'm almost downed my huge giant coffee, so I'm really ready to go today. So let's get this going. Let's talk about what growth hacking is and how it's applicable to you if you work at a nonprofit organization. All right, let's get this slide. All right, so hey, thanks guys. So what the heck is growth hacking? I mean, really, Taylor? Really? Is this another buzzword? I mean, it sort of is, right? And I don't love buzzwords. There's some buzzwords that I like. There's some buzzwords that I don't like. I really like this one because to me, it's an ideology. It's a way to market yourself. It's a way to take a lot. Sorry. It's a way to take a little and do a lot with it. And, you know, it's a term that has been coined in the startup world. My mouse isn't working today. It's a term that's been coined in the startup world. Back in 2010, Sean Ellis coined the term. He is CEO of growthhackers.com. So if you go to growthhackers.com, you can read up a lot more about what growth hacking is. If you Googled it, you can also just tune in here and learn about it from me. But really, like I said, it's an ideology. It's a principle of marketing. It's, you know, when you're at a startup, it's either you grow or you go out of business. And I think that that's really relevant to what we're doing here in the nonprofit space. You either grow your program or you cut your program, right? You either grow a new fundraising campaign and you grow your revenue and your dollars raised, or you cut staff because you're not making it. So, you know, and you're a nonprofit organization. You don't have a ton of resources. You can't buy your Super Bowl ad to market yourself. You can't spend thousands and millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars on marketing all the time, right? But you've got to do a lot. You've got to get the word out there. You have an important mission, and everything's about the mission, right? So growth hacking it's an ideology, a way to accelerate growth, and it's also a way to recognize that modern technology and modern software and what you do in the modern world is different than it was 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. Things are not the same, people. We've got these now. We've got these iPhones. We've got lots of new technology, lots of communication that's coming at us all day long, every day. And so the way you communicate with those who support your charity, the way you communicate with people you want to support your charity, it's just different. It's a changing landscape. And so that's why growth hacking recognizes there's a changing landscape. Modern technology, modern software is not the same. The way people give to charities is changing, and it's not going to be the same that it has been for the past 30 years. But that's okay. It doesn't have to be scary. I think we're actually in the greatest era right now for fundraising. And I think that because we are in an amazing time, an amazing era for automation. I liken it to the automobile assembly line. The way that Henry Ford automated building a car has brought us to today where everyone's driving around in cars everywhere. The way that software and technology is automating the way that we do our jobs, the way that we talk to the people who support us, it's making it easier, right? There's so many tools that are actually making it easier to fundraise now, but that can be overwhelming. So how is growth hacking and how is Hacks for Good applicable to nonprofit organizations? Like a startup, you've got limited resources. You probably wear a lot of hats. Unlike a startup, though, the dollars you spend are donor dollars. They are emotional. It can be very scary to think about spending donor dollars on, new technology, new software, new infrastructure. And I know that can be scary. I've been scared about that before myself. So, when you're at a startup, you've got to do a lot with a little, right? Your communication can be fragmented across teams. I've worked with lots and lots of organizations over the past decade and have found that communication often happens in silos, right? So on Hacks for Good, I want to talk about tools and technology, but I also want to talk about ways of thinking, and I want to talk about ways to communicate, to break down communication barriers, communication walls. I want to talk too about how you can start talking to each other in terms of just talking and collaborating, and software. Get your software talking to each other, because it's very likely that you have different departments who are using very similar software tools that maybe do almost the same thing, and you don't even know that you have all of these different tools going on. Or maybe you do, and you just don't have time to streamline things, right? What happens when you have that going on is you've got data in a lot of places, right? And so it doesn't create a great donor experience when maybe a donor is getting, 5 emails from you a week and you don't even know why, right? So data is something that we're going to be talking about too here on Hacks for Good with growth hacking. All right, and the whole point of it is so that you don't feel like this lady here. I've felt like this before. Sometimes I have days where I feel like this, but like I said, on Hacks for Good, I want to break things down. I want to take the growth hacking mentality and ideology to the nonprofit space so that you can learn little tips and tricks that will give you 30 minutes back in your day, maybe an hour back in your day, maybe even more, so that you're not feeling like this lady anymore, just smiling to hide how completely and utterly overwhelmed you are. All right, so 3 things that I think, 3 things that I think are really applicable, and what we're going to be talking about here in season 1 on Hacks for Good are how to cater to the donor and supporters' needs through this changing technology landscape. I'm going to share a lot of tech tools with you guys on this season. I'm going to talk about creative ways to engage people for very, very little money. We'll get into Facebook advertising. We'll get into all the social media channels maybe you're wondering about. And we're just going to talk about the basics too. We're going to talk about eating your vegetables and how to be the most effective you can be with your online fundraising. And I'm also going to talk about taking an analytical approach. So I'm going to share how you can look at data in a more meaningful way. If you've got just a bunch of spreadsheets, that can be scary, that can be overwhelming. I'm going to share in Hacks for Good some tips for you on how to look at data in a more meaningful way with some tools that are really not that expensive. I know, oftentimes thinking about software or adopting technology, the first thing you might be thinking is, God, it's expensive. I don't have the money for that. In Hacks for Good, I'm going to talk to you about lots of tools out there that you do have the money for, because many of them are free and many of them are extremely cheap, like 10, 20 bucks a month. So anyhow, that is what growth hacking is. That is how I think growth hacking is applicable to the nonprofit space. And that's a little bit about what we're going to be talking about on Hacks for Good. Thank you for joining in. If you didn't like this and you didn't give a crap about it, that's fine. It's not going to be for everyone. But if you liked it and you think this is going to help you, please share it on with other people, other colleagues, other people that you will like. Leave a comment for me. I'd love to chat, get the conversation going. I really appreciate you tuning in. I just want to be here to help you and give you the things that I've learned along the way. I'm not going to know everything. I don't know everything. I learn a lot from a lot of other people that I listen to, that I read up on, that I listen to podcasts. So I'm going to recognize that what I share with you is a little bit about what I'm learning, and we're in this together. We're all hustling. We're all trying to propel good charitable things to move forward. And we're in this.
We really appreciate you tuning in to Hacks for Good. We hope you got some nuggets you can take back to your nonprofit to accelerate growth, or just get your job done faster. Subscribe for regular updates at hacksforgood.com. If you liked it, please share this out with others you think may like it. Until next time.